Howdy, folks. It is indeed me, the solo gamer, you may call me Matt, coming at you with something a little different and a little unique this time. I have finally acquired, through some import wizardry, Dragonball Z Hyper Dimension. Which, admittedly, there are flaws whenever you're running an emulation on this, but for the most part the game runs pretty well. But this is one of those rare Dragon Ball fighting games that came out right near the tail end of the DBZ series in the Super Nintendo era. And it was, by and large, exceptionally unique for its era. Dealing with the main characters from the Frieza, Cell, and Buu series. And continuing on the style from the previous game of multiple levels with multiple sectors to it. What made it unique, as you can see, was that it had both a unique visual style and it also had that sort of 2.5D style going to it. Unfortunately, it was also exceptionally difficult. But it was exceptionally good for its era. What made it unique was its life system. Your power was your life. So if you did a super move or a special attack, it was using your own energy, your own life to actually make it work. So you had to choose whether you were going to actually take the time to, regenerate your energy and try and keep yourself alive, or if you're going to go on the offensive. It made for a much more aggressive game. And yeah, it is hard. No joke, this game was one of the more difficult fighting games of its era. But it was impressive for its time. And naturally, of course, for a game of its era, it was only in Japanese. But it had all the characters. It had a excellent set. It had Goku, Vegeta, Gotenks, Gohan, and Vegito. It had Cell, Frieza, Kid Buu, Fat Buu, and Piccolo. Now, to be fair, it's 10 characters is a lot for this time period, but it wasn't exactly unheard of. So, let's see, who... Let's do another run with Vegito and go from there. It's been a while since I played this. It was also unique in that it did have the voice work, which was rare at the time. It was also one of the first games to have proper aerial combat. which, depending upon the character, gave you a big advantage, or it could give you a big disadvantage. Let's see. Yep, I just got knocked into the next area. What's unique about these levels is that they don't have any background. You can't jump to the background like you could with the other one. If this game had any particular fault, it was that it had a lack of any real kind of move list or specialty in any English language, so you had to kind of figure it out as you went. But yeah, it was unique for its era, and it stood out because of that. Like, say what you will about the game for its time. But it definitely felt more technical than most DBZ games of its era. It still had its gimmicks, mind you, but it was still unique for its era. And every character had their specific skills. They also had, like, every character had, like, super moves, but I don't remember what... Unfortunately, I don't remember any of those super moves, so... Moves offhand. But if you land with the big hits, they do tremendous damage. Vegeta with the knee to the face. They also had the aerial ray Akuma fireballs, which was super handy. It made him a little broken in some fights because certain characters had no defense against it. Got him. Yeah, this is one of those fighting games that a lot of DBZ fans will tell you was, once you learned it, you could see the most insane high-level plays going on with the Scred. Unfortunately, I do not recall how to get out of that. So I gotta restart the game. Then there is, of course, like any good DBZ game of its time, a story mode. Which, it's more or less just Goku first, Frieza, and then forward. Although, yeah, I forgot you start with Piccolo in this. And, like, Piccolo has absolutely zero chance on this one. He is, like, beyond outmatched. Yeah, like you have zero chance of winning that. You're always gonna get smoked on that one because he is just too powerful for you. And then now it's Goku's turn to go up against Frieza. And I don't know for sure, but I think someone mentioned that like the artwork for this game was done by one of the guys who had been working on the artwork for Chrono Trigger at one point. And that's why the sprite work is so large and detailed. Got him. But yeah, like the background work is for its era, it's immaculate. There's tremendous detail for a game of its time. It has strong visuals, it has great details. It's a fairly accurate demonstration of the game's abilities to say that it would have been. I mean, to be fair, it isn't Street Fighter, but by the same token, it was for its era. It was for its era quite a. Oh crap! Forgot he had that move. Yeah, it's a straightforward fighting game, but it's still great for the Super Nintendo. Exploding Cell Jr. counter. Got him. And it's not too difficult, thankfully. Like, even if you only know the most basic of fighting game systems and platforms, it runs well enough and the moves are simple enough that you can still do pretty well with it. It doesn't change the fact that there's still better games on the platform, absolutely. But for Dragon Ball, there wasn't anything really at this level. I mean, this was built upon the Budoden series, so know, it's still a worthy continuation of that franchise. But yeah, like they really pushed the limits on the Super Nintendo with this one. This one for its era. And I mean, to be fair, like running this on Marn TV. Yeah, running this on Marn TV actually kind of diminishes it because at a practical level, like the Marn TVs, they're too big. They're too detailed. Like running this on a proper CRT makes it look absolutely like, you know, completely perfect. But it is one of those things where I think the effort to make this like a proper like 2D fighting game really gave it a style that you don't see nowadays. And still definitely like worth it if you're playing it. But oh, and of course the continuous screen is Zenzu beans. Cute. But I do think like a lot more people should try to check out some of these classic DBZ games, especially the people who are just now seeing like Sparking Zero or Fighters, and you know have an idea of like where we started from. Like, ha! 5-hit combo, bitch. Yeah, see, that background trick don't work all the time. I can easily pull you out of it. Yeah, but I think that'll do for now. But yeah, the Hyper Dimension is among a number of Dragon Ball games, including this one, which is the original Super Budokan, and this one, which is, I believe that's Super Budokan 3, and then this one, which is Gokuden, which was a unique sort of, it was a unique sort of, like multifaceted fighting game where you had to pick your events and then go from there. It wasn't to say it was flawless or without problems. Like there was definitely problems with it. But there was plenty of games out. There was plenty of games out there that were unique for its time. You know, Hyper Dimension would mention the Dragon Densetsu, which I have. What was that thing? Oh, the PC Engine one. But yeah, Dragon Ball has a long history. Budokan 2 is the one I don't have, I think. Yeah. It's on my wish list. It's on my list, but I don't have it yet. I do have Budokan 3. And I do need to get the Gokuden series down the road, but yeah, there's, you know, people getting into anime now are like, oh, there's so much great anime out there. It's like, you have no idea how much we got screwed on because they never transferred it over to America. One Piece games are always like One Piece Ocean of Dreams, which was a unique card battler, the Grand Battle series, which I actually do have, Grand Battle 2, which is on my wish list. I need to pick that up at some point, and then One Piece Mansion. But there's so many games from this era that we never got a chance to actually see. And I do think it's kind of, now's the time with all the clone systems and the Polymega. Now's the opportunity of a lifetime to actually get in on this stuff, because it's easy to import from Japan, believe it or not. A lot of this stuff is readily available out there. Anyway, but now Hyperdimension joins my collection in the Super Nintendo bracket, alongside my recent editions of Batman Returns and, let's see, Killer Instinct I recently got a hold of. I got this Power Rangers game, but it's currently not compatible. There's a programming glitch with that. I've also got Rock and Roll Racing. I got Spectre working finally. I got Super Baseball 2020 is one of those games that I think needs a major remaster, like yesterday. Yeah, like my most recent stuff is Spectre, the Power Rangers, Batman Forever, which that game is pure, uncut, undiluted madness. Fighting Force 2, which I cannot get to work for some reason, and Alien Trilogy, which, very good game. Very challenging. But yeah. And then, of course, my wrestling stuff. Crusader No Remorse. Great game, does not work. It is busted. I don't know why. And then Battle Road Shinden, all this other stuff. But yeah. Yeah, the retro landscape is in a bit of an upheaval right now. So if you're looking to get into retro gaming, now's the time for it. Alright, yeah, I also came on here to grab an update real quick, fix some issues and that kind of jazz. There it goes. Which, to be fair, got high-speed internet. The update shouldn't take long. But I do feel like the retro games market is in a bit of a weird spot right now, because it should be, by all accounts, way more stable than it ever has been, yet at the same time, I do feel like the gaming industry is kind of forgetting its roots and is in a bad spot overall. Just personal viewpoint, but right now with all the layoffs and the collapse of certain industries and the very undeniable problems that are occurring in the AAA industry in particular, I feel like the retro gaming market is going to be the place to go, because there's so much out there. And if the gaming industry does get into a slump, the retro gaming industry is going to have an opportunity to bounce back and bounce back hard. So I think that's going to be something that you're going to see a lot of people discussing, is reopening the retro game industry, you know, bringing back old titles, bringing back old platforms, and trying to make another run at it at this time when it could be optimal, could be perfect. I do admit, and I do feel like there are definitely problems that will need to be addressed, and I'm not going to lie, that's definitely not going to be easily accomplished. But things like Polymega are a way to do that. They're a way to get systems back on their feet, to get the industry back up and running. And I feel like there's a real chance for, you know, the old games to make a comeback. And I do feel like that's the path forward, is we gotta really move forward on that. Okay. Alright, so yeah, that's another piece to my puzzle. My Saturn database is growing quickly with Fighting Vipers, Battle Arena Toshinden, and then all that stuff. I still need to see about adding some more Saturn stuff to my list. And of course, my NES stuff has been growing steadily, but still not where I need it to be. And of course, my biggest part is my PlayStation, which acts as sort of my main centerpiece. I need to get Toshinden 2, and I need to check for a few other PlayStation Dragon Ball games that are out there. And then of course, Evil Zone and Iretsuwaju, same game, different devs, same game, different publishing. G Police, which is a neat little fighter game. G Darius in the Hunt. God, G Darius. They've released that on PC now, so that's kind of weird. Weird to have it back. I've also got the updated remaster for Soul Reaver, which is great, I will say. Omega Boost. Oh, that's such a good game. Mike Tyson Boxing. Not such a good game. Both of the Psychic Force franchise, Pocket Fighter, Raystorm, Rival Schools, The Road Rash, and a few other odds and ends. Highly recommend Thunder Force as well. It's an absolutely fantastic game. And Warzone and Warzone and Attitude are basically the same. Attitude was just way more developed. Versus, very cool fighter. Tiger Shark, good game, very difficult. And of course, Soul Blade. Yeah, like this is the best thing about Polymega is that everything you find you can add to this collection, and it just keeps adding to it. And with the right storage, you can basically store the entire libraries of multiple platforms and still have room left over. Elemental Gearbolt. That is a great game. No one has any idea what it's about. But anyway, this will wrap this up for now, but I just thought I'd show off the latest part of my retro gaming collection. And I do recommend that if you're a Dragon Ball fan, Hyperdimension is definitely worth it. You'll need a compatible system like a Polymega or a top loader second gen NES, because they did not have second gen Super Nintendo, because they did not have the restrictions in them that prevented import games from working. But honestly, it's just easier to get a clone and run it because they don't have it either. Either way, I'll see you guys next time. But for now, this is the Solo Gamer. You may call me Matt, and I'm signing off. Bye.